What is good, Patreon? We're going to be looking today at how to go from an ethereal melodic style break into a very hard and in-your-face drop, which is what you guys will hear in a lot of my tracks. It's a difficult thing to do, and we're going to make it even harder today and just do it over a 16 bar. Obviously, it'll be a 16 bar build, but we essentially just have a 16 bar intro and then a 16 bar vocal break that is also the build. So there's not intro, break, build, drop. It's intro, break, and build, then drop. So I've cut it down because it makes it a little bit harder. I'm going to show you how I deal with that as well. I'll play the track through. The drop isn't fished out at the moment, but you'll get the idea. All we need is that first hit.
See it clearly that we are meant to be, that we are meant to be. You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly that we are meant to be, that we are meant to be.
Sweet. So we can see that it's a big drop coming in. It's a big, loud, in-your-face drop. All we really have that has anything to do with a build at the moment is a riser. So I've already got some stuff here that I'll show you guys. But in build since, yeah, all you would have heard is this one. But that's really not cutting it. It's not doing anything. So when we look at making a build up, we think build effects. So that's uplifters and risers, and downlifters and downers. And then we think of build drums, which is like kicks, snares, claps, and stuff like that. And then after that, it's about taking your break elements and slowly fading them out in different ways, and fading in your drop by teasing it with reverb and stuff. And that's what allows for the blend. But it's a difficult thing to do because when you have these melodic ones, you're trying to maintain that melody and that chord structure and the play off of the chords and the bass and stuff, but you're also trying to prepare people for like something big that's coming so that it's not there. So that it's not in your face, I guess, like when you, it's not as much of a surprise. So the first off, the thing we'll do is we've got that build riser in here. We're going to add some build drums so we can get somewhere. So the first thing I've added is this little snare here. The second one I've added is a heavy, so that's more of like a top end snare, like a lighter one, and then we've got a heavier sort of one. The next one I've got is another snare, but this one's going even faster. So this is like a 16th note snare. And that's like a build-up. I just would have gotten that from any old pack. And then I've got a kick. Now notice this is a build-up that I've already made myself. Basically, as we go up, not only is it getting faster, but I'm auto filtering it up, so I'm cutting out the lows, sorry, and I'm washing it out with reverb. And that's something I'll get into later, but that's all very nitty-gritty stuff. I don't want to get too much into the specifics with this because I want to show you guys. So as we add those in, you'll hear
That we are meant to be, that we are meant to be. You got the hold on me, and I can see it
So as you can hear, we've got a build kick and 3 different types of snares. Now this is more than enough for your build drums, but it's still not sounding like it should. So why is that? Well, we haven't added build effects in yet, aside from that riser. So this is sort of halfway between an uplifter and a riser. So I'm going to add in some more synths now. So one of the ones I'm going to add, I've already made for you guys, which is like a downlifter. So pull that back up here to our working space, wherever it is. So basically this one, I've just made an LFO saw wave sort of synth. It's got a bit of a low pass filter, but the mix is taken down. I've got an LFO, and then I've got some compression, some reverb, and I've cut the lows. Then what I'm doing is I'm doing a pitch bend. So it's going down. So essentially, I set the upper bounds of the pitch wheel to 12 semitones up, or 1 octave up, and I start up there. So we start an octave higher, we go down to 0.5, which is back at 0, and then we go back up like that. So that's like a downer into a riser. And also, it is staccato. It's going da-da-da-da-da instead of poo, it's not sustained. So that's one thing we can add, so we'll hear how it goes with that. So I was finding that this quick snare here wasn't actually doing enough to warrant using it. So I'm actually going to delete that for the effect of simplicity. So now we hear that we definitely get more of an idea that we're going somewhere by the downer coming in. Again, that's a downer, not a down lifter. A down lifter is something to do with noise, which we will add one in. This is a downloader. Way too hot. So I think that riser we had also needs to come up. I've also done some mid-side on this, but I'm going to like bring the sides back up and probably just leave this in the middle. I'm not going to do any panning and EQ at the moment. Probably also add in another uplifter that comes in towards the end. So now we've got a build kick, 2 build snares. So we've got a heavy snare and a light snare. We've got a downlifter, we've got an uplifter, we've got a second shorter uplifter, and then we've got a downer which turns into a riser. And essentially, we could keep adding more effects, but it's just going to clutter up the mix. We want to keep it simple. And if we look at the breakdown area, essentially we got like a bass. So we got that, and then we've got these chord stacks here. So we got an ARP. We have a staccato sort of just sustained chord. And then we have these sort of like changing chords. So it's like strings there. And then we got the vocals.
You got the hold of me.
So the problem is we don't want to take away from this chord structure too quickly because it's only just come in. But we also need to sort of get away from it to get to the drop. So what should we do?
You got the hold of me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be. You got the hold of me.
So the first thing we do is we're going to get the bass to start going away. So you can see that's a sub, so I'm going to probably start taking that away here and just like reducing the volume of the sub. And I'm also going to start filtering up using a high pass filter, like an auto filter, that bass. So that the low end information should start to dry up or should start to reduce. Yeah, probably even take that down even more. So that's the first thing we can do. It's reducing the power of the low end in the bass as we go up. The other thing we can do is with the chords, we can wash them out. So washing is, it's filtering followed by reverb, not hybrid reverb, reverb, followed by OTT. So what we can do is we can group these into a group. Make this a high pass filter. We'll make the reverb a pretty standard one so it only affects your mids and highs, not your lows. Up the decay to like 8 seconds. Move that up, diffusion up a bit, and full dry wet. And then our OTT, yeah, just leave it as is. So now what we're going to do is go into your macros and hit map. And for macro 1, we want to map that to the frequency of the filter. So hit the frequency on the filter and hit map on macro 1. And then hit the dry wet on the reverb and hit map on that one. So we'll remove those two and then hit the amount on the OTT and hit map on that one. So now what happens is as we increase that, all of those 3 parameters increase. Now, the order of these also matters, so I might put the reverb and the OTT before the filter. And what I'm also finding is that I think the filter's acting a bit too much now. So what we might do is we might put that on a 12 instead of a 24, so there's a bit more information. It's not as harsh of a cutoff. But essentially, I won't get too much into that. I'll just call that macro wash, or e-wash for now, who cares. And as these go up, we want them to slowly start increasing, and then towards the end, we really want them to be washed out. You can also do that with the staccato chords. But we can make this happen a bit faster. Then we can also do it with these. I probably want to reduce the volume down as well.
You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be.
So already we can see a difference with that. Now, if we group up everything in here that isn't a vocal or a bass, so all your chords, and we basically can just cut off the volume as soon as it hits the drop here. So that's another thing. It's cutting everything off very like abruptly, losing my words, and then allowing that pre-drop to just be by itself, and then for it to come in. Because if you have any bleed from these elements into the drop, they immediately take away from the impact. So now if you listen, and I'll do the same thing with the bass group. I'm just going to cut that off right when that pre-drop hits.
That we are meant to be.
And I definitely heard a hat still going somewhere. Yeah, see, I don't think we need this hat to be in here at all, actually. It takes away from the dramaticness of the breakdown.
You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be. You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be.
So again, like, we've gotten most of the stuff down here, but I definitely think we can still do something. So another thing we can do is that because we only have 16 bars here, maybe instead of... Like, we don't... The thing we've done is we've brought in the chords and the vocals at the same time. So perhaps we should be bringing in the chords earlier so that they are already introduced. I don't want any washing at the end of that. Which allows us just to introduce the vocals. So then we could do stuff with the chords where we just cut it off earlier, but because we want this to resolve itself at least once. So what I might do is I might wash that out at the beginning, have the volume reduced, and even I can chuck on another filter on here, but have this as a low pass one that sort of like creeps up. Now that in and of itself could do. I've definitely seen that done by professional producers and people who are high up in the scene. Like, so the other thing too is that when we get to the midpoint of the build, we want something to come in that has impact. So some sort of like heavy rise up. Because that sort of makes it clear that like something new's coming in. It's not just like repeating what just happened. So as we come in, so I'm going to go riser, and one that I'm thinking of specifically is this D&B Academy one here. So, I mean, this could be recreated with Serum or something. Another thing you can do is like cut it off halfway through. So
We are meant to be. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be you.
but I feel like because the vocals are going in this one, having like a little fill here right in the middle probably would be a bit of overkill. So if we listen to it now.
You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be you. You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be you. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to.
Yes, I also have this drone going on. So I'm going to chuck a shifter on there, put it on frequency mode, and hit the fine, and then increase the fine.
You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be you. You got the hold on me, and I can see it clearly. That we are meant to be. That we are meant to be.
The other thing so that sounds good. I think that's done. The only other thing is you would have noticed the short-term LUFS, so the loudness dropped down to like -2 as that build-up was getting towards the end. So that's really loud for a build. So ultimately what you want to do then, like I always say, is go and start automating volumes down, reducing the volume of everything, the breaks and stuff, because you want the loudness or the loudest part to be your drop. But I can look at that in other videos. For this one, I just wanted to show you generally how you make the feeling of the build come up.